Welcome to Grimm's Frightmares. I'm your host, Joshua D. Maley, perhaps better known around these parts as Grimm. There is an old saying, there are no atheists in a foxhole. What it means is that it's easy to dismiss something when its very existence is incidental to your own. Most people really don't spare a thought for the supernatural, unless maybe they're watching something scary on TV. When your life flashes before your eyes, and you're faced with the horrifying reality of life and death, sometimes the only thing that makes sense is belief. Tonight's story looks at a die-hard skeptic who joins a group of friends on a fun paranormal investigation, only to come face to face with the creep. I never really believed in the supernatural, ghosts, Bigfoot, all that crap. I always shrugged them off as just stories, stuff to scare the crap out of kids around the campfire. At least until I joined Far Beyond Reality, or FBR for short. It was a group started by some friends of mine to hunt ghosts. I didn't buy it. Honestly, I thought it was kind of a dumb idea, but it was something to do. It's not like ghosts are real, so I figured, what the hell, why not? And they kind of liked the idea of having a skeptic in the group. Said it would make their evidence more legit, whatever that was supposed to mean. Anyway, there were 4 of us. Mike, Ron, Kayla, and myself. And we would all go to local hotspots for ghostly legends, most of which Mike found online. Places like graveyards, old abandoned buildings, the kinds of places that look like they belong in horror movies. Especially Massacre Mile. Sounds so scary, right? Massacre Mile was a long stretch of a dirt road that back in the day used to join 2 nearby towns. And of course, then a highway was built nearby, and it fell out of use, and it got really messed up. There's a ton of legends about the place, most of them pretty similar to any other haunted road. Kids summoning demons and getting slaughtered, Native American battles, that kind of thing. My personal favorite, though, was of a group of nuns getting slaughtered by a cult while picnicking in the woods. According to the story, the nuns were all disemboweled and hung from trees. That always makes me laugh. Not the disemboweling part, but why in the world would a group of nuns go for a picnic in the middle of the woods? And where were they even from? There aren't any convents or churches around here. I guess it's scenic enough. During the day, the place is nice. Lots of trees, just enough sunlight, nature at its best. But it's such a weird place for nuns to have a picnic. And of course, when we went to investigate, we didn't go during the day. No, we went after sundown. Specifically, we got there around 11:30 p.m. We did our usual routine, checked our gear, made sure our flashlights and digital recorders worked, checked our walkies, EMF detectors, the whole 9 yards. We loaded up, and off we went. I didn't expect anything different here from the dozens of other places that we'd investigated. About 150 yards in, there was a sound. Not unusual, just a sort of scuffling. I didn't think anything of it, but Mike, our lead that night, who was already a good distance ahead of us, hauled ass back down the hill with a look on his face that gave me the chills. He looked like he'd seen a ghost, and then promptly shit his pants. "There's something in the woods coming down the hill," he panted, trying to catch his breath. I could tell everyone was on edge. We'd never seen him so scared. Even so, we raised our flashlights to the hill in front of us. My blood froze as my light fell upon 2 glowing eyes staring back at me, and the light brown fur of a doe, an actual deer, caught in the headlights, or flashlights as the case was. Startled, it ran off, away from us and down the hill around us. "Holy shit," I said. "I sure hope there aren't any of these other monstrous deer running around. Did we get this as evidence?" "All right," Mike grumbled. "Come on, let's get back to it." We kept on walking on the edge of the dirt road, kind of in high spirits after having a laugh at Mike's expense. Everything seemed fine until the moonlight faded. I looked up and noticed that the trees above seemed like they were closing in on us a bit. I hadn't ever remembered them being so close together over top of the road during the day, but maybe the sunlight played tricks on me. But then things began to not feel right. Kinda like how when you're a kid and you're doing something you know is wrong. This was much, much worse than that. It was something I felt deep in my gut. I should have been able to shrug it off. I was the group's skeptic. I didn't believe in this stuff. Ha! We kept walking, checking for EMF spikes here and there. Everything seemed normal. But I couldn't shake that feeling that I was being watched. Not us, just me. Mike decided to stop the group and run an EVP session. We were near the place where the nuns were supposedly hung. Suddenly, that didn't seem quite as funny to me. Mike fired up the recorder and began the EVP session. Now, this is where an investigator records himself or herself asking questions to the spirits, and then they play it back to see if a spirit answers. It's kind of cool. Sometimes people do seem to get something, but we never did. "Is there anyone here who would like to communicate?" Mike asked. He paused. "We're just here to talk. We aren't here to..." Before he finished, there was a loud thump like something fell nearby. I saw Kayla grab Ron's arm and whisper, "What was that?" I half expected or hoped that maybe we would find another deer. It wasn't. Whatever it was prone right in front of us, down on all fours. I could see it staring as it laid there, looking at us with a predatory gaze and an incredible amount of patience, as if it could sit there for hours or days waiting to strike. The most unsettling part was that it was staring at me. It looked directly at me as if it were staring past my eyes and into my soul, as weird as that sounds. Its eyes seemed dead. Its head was really disfigured, like an owl and a sloth had been stitched together, but without any fur or feathers. It had a body, arms and legs, a single claw where its hands or paws or whatever should have been. And its skin was black like oil. I looked to the others, but no one seemed to notice it. Everyone kept looking around, their flashlights bouncing from tree to tree, right over top of it as if it wasn't even there. Why can't they see it, I thought. Their lights are right on it. Why can't they see it? Why can I? Oh shit, does it see me? "We need to get out of here right now," I said at last. "But we haven't," Mike started to say. I wasn't hearing it. "I'm leaving. You guys come or don't." I started walking quickly. I heard the others mumbling about how terrified I looked, and it was freaking them the hell out. A few moments later, they were all behind me. Something else was behind me, too. I could hear it, feel it follow us, watch every step that we took. It felt so close I started running blindly as quick as I could. I even tripped over a damn tree root like those idiots in horror movies. And as I went to stand back up, I saw it right next to me, staring at me, so close I could smell the rotten meat on its breath. I ran like hell, got to my feet, sprinted back to the car. Once inside, the immediate tension dissipated. We said very little. No one really wanted to talk about it, but we agreed to reconnect the next day and check out the evidence. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't shake the image of this thing I had seen. It was like every one of my most fucked up nightmares given flesh and blood. I didn't know if it was a ghost, but it sure as hell haunted me from that day forward. A month went by. Ron was the first one to fall. They found him one morning, hanging from a tree in his backyard, his intestines hanging out, just like the nuns. And the day after they buried him, they found Kayla hanging in her front yard the same way. Mike and I were devastated. We destroyed every piece of equipment, every bit of evidence, and abandoned the group entirely. We promised to keep in touch, but I haven't heard from him in a long time. I'd like to think he's okay. Part of me knows better. That part of me that feels the thing's eyes on me in the darkness just outside my window right now as I write this account. Part of me can smell that rotten meat, feel its breath on my neck. I don't think Mike is alive anymore, and I'm not sure how much longer I will be either. Happy October, Frightmares fans. I hope you enjoyed tonight's unsettling tale. If you did, please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a single episode of this or any of our other shows here at Grimm's Scary Tales. Also, please be sure to check out the links below to visit us on social media. Speaking of the links below, I also want to share some exciting news. My co-host for Grimm's Frightmares, JESS, is starring in a brand new feature film. It's a terrifying found footage film called BREW. Show JESS some love by clicking the link and watching the BREW trailer. We'll have more details on how you can see BREW and some of JESS's other work very soon. Till then, stay scary.